Hey, family. Hey, Nettie here. Seems like it's been a long time. Welcome on back to Transcendent Love. If you are returning and if you're new, welcome on in. Today, now it's been a little second since I recorded, and the messages they have been messaging, but for those of you who are new, my name is Nettie, and I am here as a light and guiding post to or into the vast, shining a light into the vastness and guiding you into the vastness of the universe that is you. And we do that by way of integrating both the spirit realm and the physical realm. So the natural human physical being and the spiritual being. We are integrating and connecting the two in the way of expansion and by channeled messages, but primarily utilizing all those things as a means of self love, because self love is the integration that we all require to be able to reach the highest version of ourselves and to be able to tap into all that we are capable of in this human form by way of spirit. That's long. That's kind of drawn out. But that is the gist of what we do. I'll get it together after a little while and figure out how to pose or position that very well. But hopefully you understand what it is we're doing. If you don't, you can have a look at some of the other videos and see how that has been going. At first, I was saying a lot at the front that I channel messages from spirit, which I do. I have a number of spiritual gifts that aid us on this journey, but that is not the only or primary thing that is of note and focus here. The focus is for you to be all that you are capable of being in this realm, but by way of spirit, and tapping into some of those or all of those capacities and capabilities that you are actually capable of. Often we don't know what those things are or how they present. And sometimes they're just more often than not, they are actually presenting whether we realize they are not, are or not. So I am here to help us all with that. And the integration most often looks like the things that are naturally occurring with those things as naturally occurring in the physical realm as well as or seemingly naturally occurring in the physical realm as well as in the spiritual realm. So it often is a lot of practical steps and messages toward your growth internally that control and affect everything externally. That's how we rock. That's how life goes. It seems one way, largely it is another way. So we explore all of that from within and express it outwardly. A lot, I know, but that's just how it is for the time. But anyway, I've been trying to get a pretty good hold on how to express that at the front, and I'll simplify it at some point, but I'll say it however long it needs to be said so that there's a pretty full or decent understanding of how this goes because it's in self-love is the primary goal. Without self-love, you are unable to recognize yourself for who you actually are, the God that you are, and you don't treat yourself as such. So, the basis and foundation for us here is our root system. Our root system is always going to be self love. And I say root system because if we'll just view ourselves as a tree, the tree does not grow without first rooting, and you need strong roots. So, the root for us, the foundation for us, is self love. In that, I'll go on to talk about two today. I actually did pull some cards. I didn't pull them on camera because initially I thought they were just gonna be for me until I started getting more messages about it. It seemed very interesting. Initially, I was interpreting one way, and then Spirit sent me back to the cards to have another look for a more plain and fuller interpretation. Also, Spirit did show me you all in my meditation today in the astral realm. You all were, which goes perfectly since that whole intro was long and drawn out. But in this astral realm visit, it was you and your twin. I say you and your twin, but your twin just is representative of the two aspects of you as spirit and as man. And um, you in the light fashion and you as the shadow fashion. So your shadow side along with your light side. And so it spoke a lot even in that sense of integration. So you and you were embarking on a journey into what looked to be the forest, and you all were operating from this yellow this yellow aura, which is that of creativity in operation from the solar plexus, which is something that we've discussed before. But it seems to be guiding you guys, or guiding us all at this point pretty heavily into the places that we're navigating at the time. But you are heading into the forest on this adventure, and it's a massive forest. It's full of greenery and trees, and um, like forests are. Your the highest version of yourself looked slightly different. You could tell that it was you, the different versions of yourself, but one version was an older version or a one. So I'll say one is like the version of you now, and a composite of even that from past, because we still have some of that intermingled within us. And the other version was the highest version of you, who was um I'm hearing looking like a full composite of the glow up. So it entailed you as the version that you were desirous to be. So you were better looking, you were more fit, you were healthier. And even if there is nothing wrong with you right now, and there isn't, it was just the version of you that has everything and is in every place that you are desirous to be. So what ended up happening was you both grabbed each other's hand and looked at each other and said, "Let's go." So you made an agreement to go on this journey together through the woods. But there was a pretty good understanding just from the start that the highest version of you already knew the way, had already been through that segment of the forest on this kind of adventure before. So that version of you was in charge of leading the present version of you, is what we'll call it. So the further you all got into this forestry on this path, the current version of you kept getting discouraged at certain points, and even tripping, like tripping over brush and whatever. You hadn't been on that way, so you didn't see all of the obstacles or challenges on the way. The highest version of you that was leading, of course, did not trip over those things because they'd already been there. They'd already known that route to take. But every time you would fall, the highest version of yourself would come back, and not even come back, but would nurture you back. You would be so at a number of points I saw you like sitting down and like you know how a kid scrapes their knee or something like that, and they're just kind of holding on to that, and they're in pain and they're crying and they're having a hard time processing what's taking place or what's going on, and they need the comfort of the adult usually at that point, or somebody to let them know that it's going to be okay, and that it can be taken care of, the wound is going to heal. So essentially, you would keep coming back, and every time the current version of you was down, the higher version of you would come in and give you a hug and wipe your tears and just speak kindly to you, embracing you and nurturing you back. And that was pretty much the gist of it, except with the understanding of and the interpretation being that you all will finish this course through this adventure with your higher self leading, and your higher self will always come back to nurture you and give you the care that you need. But the integration is important. The integration is that component that allowed that higher version of you to come back and love on the current version of you. It takes sync, uh, that syncing and unification within yourself. It takes that unification within the light side and the shadow side of who you are. The shadow side is always going to get discouraged by things because that is predominantly built up of the belief systems that we haven't grown as far away from. Now, your higher self, the light side of you, is always assisting the more you grow in helping you away from some of those subconscious belief systems that keep you in a rut and hemmed up and tripped up. But it has to be done in such a loving and nurturing way, which is where self care comes in and self love, predominantly self love, because self love gives you the ability to integrate without judgment. And that is going to be extremely important. A lot of times we are not moving as far or as fast as we can because we are not integrating the versions of ourselves very well. We're doing that a lot of times with judgment, and it's really no fault of your own. You were taught that. It's been the subconscious conditioning that we've all faced. But it's important for you to know that that's happening, to recognize it, to see it, to be on the lookout for that whenever it starts to happen, so that you can begin to recondition your mind to not judge yourself as you are going through these different phases and stages in life. Now, since there's no judgment, that doesn't mean that you stay in those places. It just means that you show grace for those places and for yourself in those places as they arise, and you are learning how to navigate those spaces from a new mindset. That is going to be key. So, anytime you find yourself getting hung up in these places, you're trying to move on and you're facing these setbacks on your journey, take a moment, assess how you need to without judgment, and get back on the track. Get back on the path that gets you to your desired outcome. That is taking that moment, is that version of your higher self nurturing and loving you, instead of the thing that we're most often doing is having negative self-talk and kicking ourselves while we're down. So it's not for nothing that it becomes more difficult for us to progress in life if we're forever knocking ourselves down or kicking ourselves down or kicking ourselves while we're down. We got to be able to show that grace and show that love. Now, unfortunately, it's not something that is most commonly expressed. But if you take account for the fact that most people have no idea what love is anyway, then it becomes more understandable. And we don't harp on that because it is what it is. So we just go the route that we know to go in the way of love as we're learning how to better love ourselves in every place that we are in. So what I got right here for you. I didn't even ask how y'all was doing. I just listen. I didn't ask how y'all was doing. I didn't tell y'all I was great. I don't think none of that because I am great, and I hope that y'all are too. I found myself a little bit this recording situation was a little bit of a struggle at first because first I'm recording on my computer because my phone is broke. So I've been having to learn to re-navigate life without a cell phone until my other one gets here. I it Yeah, it made more sense for me to wait on it. Anyway, really not that big of a deal as much as it would seem like. We have gotten so super conditioned to the cell phone usage. And so interesting, I did not ever think about that cell phone download message being the precursor to my phone breaking and me being solely reliant on me, which in my mind I am more often navigated by my internal guidance. But you recognize how much more that could be whenever you don't have a phone. Because legit, everything is inside of you. Do y'all know? And you wouldn't know because you don't have no way of knowing. But my phone breaks, and there is a part of me at that point that's like, I'm going into the weekend, and I'm like, am I going to conduct my everyday or my weekend plans and activities just the same as I would because I don't have a phone? Like, it was the weirdest thing because we have gotten so dependent upon this external thing that holds all this information. And you learn very quickly how dependent on that thing you really are. You don't know nobody's numbers. You probably don't really know no passwords for real. You probably keep the passwords in some sort of app that's also on the phone. Fortunately, Spirit guided me a little while back to put the passwords someplace where I could actually access them from my computer as well. So I'm glad I listened to that because otherwise I would have been a little jacked up trying to get into stuff. But also, even some of that stuff that I know the passwords for, I still can't get into because why? Two-step authentication. And they want to send a text message to my cell phone that I do not have access to. Since I don't have access to the cell phone and it's not set up with an email, I still can't access those accounts. Craziness. But such is life. Um, but it's definitely a number of lessons in there about being too dependent upon this cell phone. Now, fortunately, don't nobody depend on me and gonna be calling me in an emergency. In general, I never understand people saying they need to be able to reach you in the case of an emergency because if it's an emergency, call the police, child. Ain't nothing I can do. But anyway, that's that little sidebar. So anyway, when I was pulling cards for um, this message earlier, I told Spirit that it was going to be a four card read. Really, Spirit told me because at first I was thinking it was going to be a three card, but Spirit said four card. So the major I'll go like this. Um, that's something is missing. Okay, so let me do it like this. So one of your main cards is going to be, and I use this Mystical Moon tarot deck because of the full moon. So it seemed very fitting. If you didn't know, last night was a full moon in Aries, which also has effects on the things that we have going on as well. Then we had a Nine of Wands. Then we had a Chariot card, the Chariot. And we had the Tower. Okay. So the Empress is very much a glow up card. The Empress is very much she, and it's not necessarily about feminine or masculine energy, although it talks a lot about and I don't want to say it's not about feminine or masculine energy. It is a feminine card, but it's important to know that you possess both feminine and masculine energy, but it's not in the sense of like being a woman. Like it don't, that it's energy. It actually has nothing to do with either of those things, contrary to popular belief. But she speaks to nurturing, and in general, she is often depicted in some decks as pregnant because she is the embodiment of all the queens. So she possesses within her a lot of capability and capacity. I was about to combine those. It's been a little second since I did that, but she yeah, she's pregnant with possibility in general. And as far as the Nine of Wands, the Nine of Wands is really indicative of the end of a cycle. Nine is representative of ends of cycles, and this is the probably the end of a creative block that maybe you've been dealing with. Wands are fire, and they deal a lot with creativity. So if you've been blocked up on some things that you would like to do, that cycle is ending at this point, and you can look forward to that getting better the more you are focused on the protection that this card actually represents as well, boundaries. For some of you all, Spirit was saying it's not, with what you're creating, it's not going to be as beneficial for you to let every single person know what it is that you're doing. Move. Real G's move in silence like lasagna. So, so anyway, it's not meant for you to tell everybody everything that you got going on right now. A lot of time, the energy for the project that you have in place gets leaked whenever you start telling people about it, and then you're not able to carry forward the measure of energy necessary to accomplish the thing at the rate that you could prior to telling somebody. So it's not necessary to tell people. Tell people on the other side when you win it, and you don't need any of those people to win. Know that. And start using no more often. Boundaries. This is a card of boundaries. So get to know, like, and love boundaries and implement them for all the bodies. Then we have that chariot card. The chariot is a major arcana, which is heavily spirit, a heavy spirit card, which also the Empress was as well. And this is a card of integration. This is a card of fast movement, uh, overcoming, achievement, and it's masculine. So in most depictions of this card, it's usually a guy between two pillars or two figures, one black, one white. So it's really just, it speaks of integration into mastery, is what Spirit was saying. That it was all about mastery when I was asking about it today. And it's mastering yourself, not mastering yourself to be able to master whatever projects you are working on. And then you have the Tower card for another major arcana, which is transformation card. It's transformation, it is death and rebirth, ends of cycles, and new beginnings, changes that have been necessary to be made or taking place with that. So I asked for clarification for all of them. And so one of the clarification cards I got for the Empress is the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is indicative of spirit and thought. So you have a lot of new creative ideas, and it's you're starting a lot of new creative ideas, which is not surprising considering she came first. She's full, she's pregnant with possibility. And you'll be birthing new beginnings. So you'll be birthing new creative endeavors. You'll be taking action on some of those ideas. And then the next clarification card I got was the Fool card. The Fool card is indicative of new beginnings, new journeys as well, new adventures. They often call it the Fool's journey. If you think about what that would be representative of, it's kind of like a carefree energy, lighthearted, whimsy, energy. So you're going on, you're creating, and you're doing it lightheartedly. Do it in an adventurous way. It's a travel card as well. So some of you may be traveling as one of your creative ideas and as you create ideas, Spirit says. Then there's the Moon card. So the Moon card seems quite fitting for the full moon, if you ask me, which I did not originally catch. It's a shadow card. So it's things that are going on in the shadows that can't readily or easily be seen on the surface. And that makes sense with the whole lineup for this to be the clarity card, the ultimate, and it's also a major arcana. So Spirit is doing some things and giving you some ideas to get creative on behind the scenes, also in the wake of like not telling people all that you got going on as boundary. Um, and that being a component of that shadow side. And so with this nine of wands, for clarity, we have the judgment card, we have the page of pentacles, and then we have the king of pentacles. So it makes sense that these would be your clarifying cards because this is creative energy. We talked about those creative endeavors being unblocked, and Spirit is saying to make sure that you aren't judging yourself, that you embark on these creative endeavors, taking the necessary routes that are for you, but do it without judgment. If you are kinder to yourself on this journey and implement self-love on this journey, you are going to get a whole lot farther, a whole lot faster. Then the page of pentacles is remembering why you started it in the first place. You may get a messenger that comes in, but this is a new beginning in stability, often financial stability as well as relational stability as well. So if you, it could be like business partners. There could be someone coming in with an offer or a partnership opportunity. So there's that. They can help you get to where you're going. And then the King of Pentacles is mastery. And what Spirit is saying here is if you are, and this is mastery over stability, um, which is going to be like home life as well as finances. So by you protecting what it is that you're doing and going after your goals here without judgment, you'll get mastery over this financial aspect in your life. And for the charity card, this is an integration card that we talked about that speaks of achievement and overcoming, which is so these four positioning. It is past, present, and past, present, future, and actionary steps to be taken. And so this one is what's coming. It's fast movement. It's incoming energy of integration and overcoming. This is the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is the most creative queen in the deck. She is very intuitive. She is self actualized, self sufficient. She knows how to create. She trusts her intuition. And then you got the Lovers, which also is this in this particular sense. It's not necessarily meant to be for relational components, relationships, but there is an air of that in here. So some of you, if you're not in a relationship, you will begin to that actually might be the messenger that's coming through, is what I'm hearing from this current positioning as the page of pentacles. But more so than even that, this is integration as well. This is the fusion or integration between the spirit man and the physical man, and getting a rein on that self mastery and loving yourself through it without judgment, like the other one. And the Sun card. The Sun card is another like whimsical card that speaks of achievement and mastery and overcoming and celebration and childlikeness, zeal, radiance. So this is it's a lot coming in. It's a lot of good stuff coming in. And so with this tower, your clarifiers are strength, which is another major arcana, Three of Wands, and the Eight of Wands. We said that the tower is a death and rebirth card, transformation card more so. And you'll end up going through this transformation in strength. In strength. It's also a courage card, a bravery card. And Spirit also has given me in one of the normal depictions of the strength card, there's a lady um kind of patting the head of a lion. And essentially Spirit is talking about or has told me that this is you taming the beast that is that shadow side. It is you with courage, still pressing through and being able to console and comfort that version and aspect of you. So actually, I'm pointing back to you and you on the journey in the forest. That's that. Interesting. I love it. And Three of Wands is your plans. This is a globe with a ship in it. And the regular is a depiction of you standing at a hillside, watching your ships come in, watching the changes and your desires come in. All the things that you have planned for, they all begin to come. So, with this transformation in strength, in courage, in bravery, it'll take all of that. Just like when you were in the woods with you and with your other self, with the other version of yourself, it took bravery continuing at each point where you were downtrodden or had fallen down and needed that encouragement to continue. And the Eight of Wands is coming in fast, coming in hot. This is a momentum card. Um, for your creativity. Three of Wands is just the same. So you got some creative ideas and projects that are coming through just the way you planned them, and they're coming in hot. They're coming in. The speed of the speed of alignment is what I'm hearing is picking up. You are drawing closer to those things with this integration. So be encouraged. That is where we are. It'll take some courage and some alignment of those light and dark or shadow aspects of who you are to get to this place in it. But just be courageous, and you got it. And I asked for a card that links it all together, and I got the Wheel of Fortune, which means that, and really it was already in the message of the cards. Things are changing. Your whole life is changing. Everything is aligning to what it is that you've been working for and going after. So I don't feel like that was a message that was missed throughout the cards. But if you did miss it, Spirit made sure you couldn't. The wheel of your fortune has and is changing. Has and is changing. You've changed some already. Great job. Congratulations. Still more change. Still more change because you haven't got everything with your name on it. So look forward to that. I hope that this message helps and heals, is what I'm hearing, and shines some light on where you are and why you feel the way you feel, some of the things, some of the energy that is here with us right now. And until next time, this one is a little bit, I was going to say it's a little bit longer. Anyway, I leave this message in love and in light only and always, forever, forever, ever. Until next time. Toodoo.